Homeless black twin boys returned a billionaire's lost wallet. What he discovered made him cry. "You two get out of here immediately." The security guard pointed his flashlight at the boys' faces. "Kids like you have no business here." Marcus and Miguel, twins only 8 years old, backed away, but Marcus clutched a black leather wallet he'd found on the parking lot floor. Their torn coats and holy sneakers contrasted with the Italian marble around them. "But sir, we just want to return this," Marcus whispered, holding out the wallet. "There's a man's name inside." The guard laughed dismissively. "Return it after you've taken everything of value, right?" Alexander Rothschild watched from the second floor. At 52, the billionaire had built an empire, but had never witnessed anything that touched his soul like this scene. The boys didn't run. Marcus put the wallet down and walked away, pulling Miguel. "Let's go. We tried to do the right thing." Alexander noticed resignation in the boy's eyes that shouldn't exist in 8-year-olds. "Wait," his voice echoed. Alexander hurried down. "That wallet, it's mine." He checked its contents. Everything was there, but it was what he found folded between the bills that made his world stop. A piece of notebook paper with childish handwriting. "We found this on the ground. My grandma always said that returning lost things brings good luck. We hope you're not worried. Marcus and Miguel." Alexander looked at the boys. "Did you write this?" Marcus nodded chilly. Something broke inside Alexander's chest. In 52 years, surrounded by people who crawled for crumbs of his fortune, 2 abandoned children had shown more integrity than any adult in his circle. "Where do you live?" Miguel whispered. "On the bridge near the river." The guard cleared his throat. "These boys always show up asking for food. Maybe call social services." Alexander turned with a look that made his blood run cold. "Perhaps you should worry about your own job." He knelt before the twins. "You gave me something much more valuable than a wallet today. You taught me that true wealth has nothing to do with money." Alexander made a decision that would change their lives and reveal secrets about his own family buried for decades. Hours later, Alexander couldn't get the boys out of his head. His secretary called social services. Marcus and Miguel Santos. In the system for 6 months since their grandmother died. "They've run away from shelters 3 times. They want to stay together." Something tightened in Alexander's chest. "There's more. The social worker is trying to separate them. Twin brothers are harder to place, so protocol is to separate them." Alexander stood abruptly. "They only have each other. When I was 9, my parents died in a car accident. They separated me from my younger brother, David. They said it was best. I never saw him again." Patricia swallowed hard. "I built this empire but never managed to find my brother. I won't let that happen to Marcus and Miguel." Alexander found them under the bridge, huddled in a cardboard box. "I came to thank you and ask if you'd like dinner at my house." Miguel peeked out. "Why would a rich man want dinner with us?" "Because you reminded me of what it's like to be a good person, even when the world isn't good to you." Miguel whispered. "Our grandma said we had to be good because our parents were watching from heaven." "They died when we were babies." Alexander closed his eyes. "Orphans just like he had been. Your parents would be proud." That night, Alexander's house echoed with children's laughter. Watching them sleep peacefully, he made a decision. The next morning, Mrs. Morrison appeared with police officers. "Mr. Rothschild, hand over the children immediately. Taking vulnerable minors without authorization is a crime." Alexander remained calm. "The children are safe, fed, and cared for. You don't have legal custody. People like you think money can buy whatever they want." It was the bureaucratic arrogance that had destroyed his childhood. "I understand your concerns, but these children will have all the stability they deserve and all the legal resources they need." He called Richard Blackstone, the country's most feared family lawyer. Hours later, Alexander received a call from the hospital. "We found something in their grandmother's medical records. Mother, Isabella Santos. Father, David Rothschild. Both died when the twins were 6 months old." Alexander read the name 3 times. David Rothschild, his lost brother. Marcus and Miguel weren't just children who needed help. They were his nephews. Inside a box of belongings, Alexander found photographs. David holding identical babies. On the back, "To my brother Alexander, if we ever meet again. David, Isabella, Marcus, and Miguel, our family." When he returned home, Alexander knelt before Marcus. "I need to tell you something about your father. He was my brother." Silence hung in the air. "That means you are my nephews." "The family I searched for 30 years. Miguel appeared. "So we're not going to be separated?" "Never. You are Rothschilds, and Rothschilds don't abandon family. But Mrs. Morrison still didn't know she had tried to separate a family the universe had worked 30 years to reunite. The next morning, Morrison arrived with a full team. Your deadline expired. Hand over the children or be arrested. Richard appeared with documents. Birth certificate of David Rothschild, brother of Alexander. Birth certificate of Marcus and Miguel Santos, sons of David Rothschild. DNA test, 99.97% compatibility. Alexander Rothschild is the biological uncle. Morrison's confidence evaporated. Richard pulled out recordings. I have here your 3 attempts to separate these children against their will. 47 cases of sibling separation in 5 years. 23 against psychological recommendation. The city attorneys whispered, calculating potential damages. Temporary custody order signed by Judge Hamilton. Permanent custody in 30 days. Morrison knew she had lost. This isn't about winning or losing. You're right, Alexander replied, hugging the boys. It's about 2 children who have finally found their place in the world. 6 months later, Alexander watched Marcus and Miguel playing. The family that fate had separated for 30 years was finally complete. Morrison had been fired. Richard's lawsuit resulted in complete protocol overhaul. Uncle Alex, the teacher, said our essay about family was the best. Alexander smiled, remembering the note in his wallet. 2 honest children had returned more than money. They had returned faith that genuine goodness exists. That lost wallet had been the universe correcting a decades-old injustice, proving that sometimes the greatest blessings come disguised as impossible coincidences.